Hey. Ever seen a tree growing upside down? Like, in a cave? It's like a tree decided to take a nap, and then forgot how to wake up. So how does it even do that? Like, are the roots now the top? Is it like a tree with a brain in its feet? Well, it's not really upside down. It's more like it's hanging out in a dark cave, and the light is coming from above. So it just grows the way it always does, but now it's hanging by its roots. So it's not magic, it's just gravity and light. Like a plant says, okay, I'll grow up, but I'll hang out upside down if that's what the cave wants. So next time you see a cave, imagine a tree doing yoga, upside down, with no one to tell it it's not allowed. So what exactly are we talking about? Like, trees growing upside down in caves? That sounds like a bad joke, but it's actually a real thing. Trees in caves? That's like a plant trying to do a handstand on a rock. These trees are called blind vines or cave trees. They're basically plants that forgot they're supposed to grow up. Instead, they grow down toward the cave floor. It's like they're saying, I'm not going to follow the rules, I'm going to be a rebel. So it's not like they're literally upside down. They're just growing in the direction of the light, which is in the opposite direction of normal trees. It's like a plant that's trying to look up, but there's a big boulder blocking the way. So it just looks down instead. These trees are also super cool because they're usually found in very specific, isolated caves. Like, they're the only plants in the cave, so they're basically the cave's weird, lonely, but kinda awesome roommate. They don't have any friends, but they've got style. In short, we're talking about plants that chose to grow down instead of up. Like a plant that's like, okay, I can't grow up, but I can grow down. Who's gonna stop me? And the answer is no one, because the cave is dark, and they're just trying to get a little bit of light. So yeah, you might think this is some weird cave fact, but guess what? It's actually super important. Imagine if we didn't know how plants grow in the dark, we'd be stuck trying to grow veggies in the middle of a dark cave. That's like trying to make a pizza in a freezer. And here's the kicker, those upside down trees are actually kind of like Earth's own little light switches. They tell us where the sun used to be, like nature's GPS. It's like if a tree could say, hey, I used to be outside, now I'm at cave, but I still remember the light. Plus, if we don't care about these weird cave trees, we might miss out on some pretty cool science. Like, how do they even survive without sunlight? It's like asking how a jellyfish can live in the ocean without ever touching the ground. It's weird, but it works. And honestly, it's just cool to know that nature can do things that seem impossible. Like, a tree growing upside down is basically a plant doing a backflip. And we're like, wait, that's a tree? How does that even work? So yeah, even though it sounds like a weird cave fact, it's actually kinda cool. And you know what? You should care. Because if you don't, you might miss out on a whole bunch of weird, awesome, and totally weirdly useful stuff. So next time you're in a cave, remember there's a whole world of weird, fascinating, and slightly terrifying tree facts waiting for you. And look, you're now one step closer to being a cave tree expert, or at least, a weird tree enthusiast. Okay, let's fast forward a few million years. Trees didn't always grow upside down. Back in the day, they used to grow on the ground, like regular trees, with roots down and leaves up. But then, one day, some caves got really big and some trees got really brave. Caves are like nature's underground secret rooms. They're dark, damp, and full of things that don't want to be seen. But some trees, like the ones we call cave trees, decided to take the plunge and grow in the dark. So, here's the deal. Trees in caves grow upside down because there's no light down there. They have to grow toward the light, which is up, so their roots end up on top and their leaves on the bottom. It's like a tree that got a life jacket and started floating in a dark pool. These trees are basically light chasers. They're like the cave version of a sunflower, but instead of following the sun, they follow the faintest bit of light that sneaks through cracks in the rock. It's like a tree that's been told, you're not the only one who wants to see the sky. So, in summary, trees and caves grow upside down because there's no light down there. They grow toward the light, which is up, so the roots end up on top. It's like the tree version of a person who always looks up. And that's the story of how trees learned to grow upside down. Not because they're lazy, but because they're brave, curious, and really into light. Stay curious, stay upside down, and remember, the sky is always up. So, trees grow upside down in caves. Like, literally, like a tree that's been flipped over? No, wait, not flipped. Just growing with its roots up and its leaves down. Why, how does that even work? Trees need sunlight, right? Well, in caves, there's no sunlight, so they've got to adapt. Like how you might grow a plant in a dark room with a lamp. These trees, called trilobite, have evolved to survive in the dark. Their roots don't need to reach for water. They just soak it up from the rock around them. They're like the cave version of a Venus flytrap. Only instead of snapping shut, they just grow really slowly and use what little light they can find. So yeah, trees in caves don't grow upside down. They grow in the dark, and they're pretty cool. Like, really, really cool. Kind of like me trying to explain this. So, trees growing upside down in caves. First, you gotta have a cave. Not the kind with dragons, but the kind with a lot of space, like a big, empty room. And it needs to be dark, because sunlight is the tree's favorite snack. Without it, they start to, well, panic. But here's the twist. The cave has to be upside down. Or at least, the tree has to be. Wait, no trees grow up, right? So maybe the cave is just tilted, like a roller coaster track for plants. That's how it starts. Now, the tree has to find its way. Without sunlight, it's like trying to find your way through a dark tunnel with only your hands. It just keeps reaching, and that's how it starts growing up, even though it's in a cave. But how does it get water? Well, it's not like a normal tree. It's gotta rely on the cave's own system. Like a water slide, but for plants. The water trickles down, and the tree drinks it up, even though it's upside down. So, the setup is like a tree in a dark, upside-down world, with no sunlight, but plenty of water, and a lot of patience. And that's how it all begins. Ready for the next step? Okay, so once the spores land on the cave floor, they're like, I'm gonna grow up, not down. They start to sprout roots and send out little feelers to grab onto the rock. It's like trying to climb a wall with your fingers, but with roots and a lot more patience. These roots are super strong and super determined, even if they're in the dark. They're basically doing a cave version of I will not fall, I will climb, I will be the tallest plant in this cave. Once the roots get a good grip, the plant starts growing upwards, not down, like a tree trying to reach the light, but in the cave where the light is, well, still the light. Somehow, the stem is like a ladder, getting taller and taller, while the roots are like anchors holding everything together. It's a team effort, and the plant is the boss of the operation. So basically, the plant is doing the same thing as a tree, but in a cave. It's like a tree that's been told it can't grow up, so it just grows up harder. So, here's the real kicker: trees and caves don't just hang out in the dark, they actually learn to grow up. It's like a plant version of I will not fall, I will climb. They use the faintest bit of light, like a flashlight in the dark, to figure out which way to grow. It's like they're playing a game of follow the light, dummy. But here's the twist: some trees actually grow their roots up and their trunk down. It's like they're doing yoga and flipping upside down in the dark. It's not magic, it's just a really clever way to survive. They're basically the cave version of I will not let you forget my name. So next time you see a tree in a cave, remember it's not upside down, it's just doing its thing. And honestly, it's kind of cool. So like, trees in caves, they're not actually upside down, they're just growing in a weird place. It's like if your plant was stuck in a fridge and started growing through the door. They use the same sunlight tricks as normal trees, but since there's no sun in a cave, they just wait for light. It's like a tree that's like, I'm not getting any light, but I'll still try to reach it. But how do they get their nutrients? Well, they basically eat the rock. Some have special bacteria on their roots that help them break down minerals. It's like a tree with a tiny army of dirt-eating sidekicks. Quick word from our sponsor. If this sounds like something you'd enjoy, take a look at the Kindle Paperwhite e-reader. There's a link and a QR code on screen right now, and in the description below. Alright, back to it. And here's the real kicker: some cave trees don't even have leaves. They're like the tree version of a vampire, living off of light and staying in the dark. So yeah, trees and caves are kind of like nature's weirdos. They're not upside down, they're just doing what they do in a place that's, like, very not their normal habitat. So imagine you're a tree, but you're stuck in a cave. You're like a kid who got lost in a maze and just started growing out the wall. You're upside down, but you're still trying to reach the light. It's like trying to grow a tree while wearing a hat made of socks. You're not actually upside down, you're just growing in a place where the ceiling is the floor. It's like if your house was turned upside down and you had to live in the attic. You're still a tree, just in a weird place. The water comes down from the ceiling, like a shower, and you drink it through your roots. It's like if your shower had a secret garden growing under the tiles, and you were the one who got watered by accident. You don't care about the light, you're just trying to survive. It's like if you were a human in a cave, and you just started growing upside down to avoid the bears. You're not trying to be a tree, you're just trying to be alive. So in the end, you're a tree in a cave, growing upside down. Just like how you're a person in a cave, growing upside down. It's all about survival, not style. And that's how trees grow in caves, like a weird, upside-down version of yourself. Okay, so here's the thing: trees don't actually grow upside down. They grow right side up, like everyone else. But in caves, they grow in weird places, like on the ceiling or walls. It's like they're trying to be fancy, but they're really just trying to get some light. But wait, how do they even get sunlight? They're stuck in the dark. Oh, but some caves have tiny cracks or openings. That's like the tree's version of a window. It's not much, but it's enough for them to start growing. And here's the wild part, some of these trees are actually growing on the ceiling. They're called cave trees or trilobites. They're like the cave version of a tree, but they've evolved to live in the dark. No sunlight, no soil, just hanging on for dear life. These trees don't need soil. They get their nutrients from the air and water. It's like they're sipping on a cave's atmosphere, like a tree that's mastered the art of being a vampire but with more leaves. So yeah, they don't grow upside down. They just grow in weird places and somehow, it works. It's like nature's version of a surprise party for trees. They're not upside down, they're just having a little cave party. Okay, so the first myth is that trees grow upside down in caves. That's a total myth. Trees need sunlight to make food, and caves are dark as raccoons suck. You'd have to be a plant with a PhD in darkness to survive in a cave. And even then, you'd probably just be a mossy weirdo, not a tree. So, no, trees don't grow upside down in caves. They grow right side up, like the rest of us. Unless you count being upside down as right side up in a cave. But hey, if you want to imagine a tree growing upside down in a cave, go ahead. Just don't blame me when you start seeing trees in your cereal. So, myth number 1 is busted. Trees don't grow upside down in caves. They grow upright in sunlight, like the good little plants they are. So here's another myth I've heard. Trees grow upside down in caves because they're trying to escape the dark. But let me tell you, that's not how it works. Trees are like plants with a plan, not a panic. The real reason trees grow the way they do is because of something called phototropism. That's just a fancy way of saying plants like to turn their heads toward the light, like a toddler at a buffet. So when someone says trees grow upside down in caves, they're probably thinking of those weird, hanging plants you see in caves. But they're not upside down. They're just hanging out in the dark, doing their own thing. And that's the second myth busted. Trees don't grow upside down in caves. They just grow in caves. And sometimes they grow in weird, cool ways. Like a plant that's learned to live in the dark. So next time you hear someone say trees grow upside down in caves, just think, they're probably just being dramatic. Or maybe they're just really into plants. Either way, it's a cool fact, even if it's not 100% accurate. So next time you see a weird plant in your bathroom, maybe it's not a cursed herb. Maybe it's just trying to grow upside down like a cave tree. Who knew your toilet could be a secret cave? Or maybe you got a weird little plant on your windowsill. It's not trying to be rebellious, it's just following its natural instincts. Or maybe it's trying to make you think it's a rebel. And if you're a fan of weird, maybe you've got a weird little plant in your shower. You're not the only one who thinks it's weird. It's just doing what it does. So in your everyday life, you're not just living in a world of trees and soil. You're living in a world of upside-down trees and weird growth patterns. It's like a secret subculture of plants. So next time you see a weird plant, maybe you're not seeing a monster. You're seeing a tree that's just doing its thing. And maybe it's a little bit like you, trying to grow in a world that doesn't always make sense. So, I went to this cave in Texas, and I saw these trees growing upside down like they were trying to do yoga in a yoga pants suit. It was like nature's version of a TikTok trend, but with roots and leaves. The air was so still, it felt like the cave was holding its breath. I was like, is this real, or am I just dreaming in a cave? But then I saw more trees, and I was like, okay, this is actually happening. The thing is, these trees don't just grow upside down, they actually thrive. They've got special roots that can hold onto the ceiling like a tree trying to climb a wall. It's like they're doing a whole stick to the ceiling thing. And guess what? They can even make their own food upside down. They've got chlorophyll and sunlight, so it's basically like having a tiny green factory in your cave. It's wild. So yeah, trees growing upside down in caves isn't just a weird thing, it's a whole survival strategy. It's like nature's version of a startup. They have to be creative to survive in a place where the ceiling is the floor. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how they don't fall over. Maybe they just have a really strong sense of balance. Or maybe they're just bad at gravity. So, some trees in caves are so old, they've been growing upside down for like 1,000 years. That's like being a human and living upside down for 1,000 years. You'd be like, I'm not a tree, I'm a weirdo. These trees are basically like, I've seen a lot of stuff, but I've never seen a ceiling. They're used to being upside down, so they just keep on growing like, okay, this is normal now. Scientists have studied these trees and they're like, wow, these things are basically time machines. They've been around since the dinosaurs were doing the prehistoric dance. Some of these trees are so old, they've outlived the people who discovered them. They're like, I've seen your grandparents, now I'm seeing your great-great-grandkids. And the best part, they're still growing. It's like nature's version of a time loop. These trees are basically stuck in a loop of, I'm going to keep growing, no matter what. Okay, so what happens when a tree tries to grow upside down? Well, it's like trying to grow a tree in a jar of soup. The roots can't reach the soil, and the leaves can't catch any sunlight. It's basically a sad, green bob trying to be a tree. Imagine a tree that's like, I'm gonna grow straight up, but there's no up. It just ends up bending, twisting, and looking like a confused pretzel trying to find its way out of a cave. Sometimes the tree just gives up. It stops growing, turns brown, and becomes a sad, crispy leafy thing. It's like a tree that's been told it's upside down for too long and just quits. In some cases, the tree actually grows in the wrong direction. It becomes a weird, upside down tree that's not really a tree anymore. It's like a tree that's been told to flip its head and now lives in a world where up is down. And then there's the saddest case of all. The tree dies. It's like a tree that's been trying to grow upside down for years and finally just stops. It's the tree equivalent of giving up and taking a nap forever. So yeah, trees and kids are like the weird cousins who always show up uninvited. They're not actually upside down, but they look like it because they're growing in the dark. It's like when your brother takes a photo of you in pajamas and sends it to your mom. Caves are basically the opposite of a sunbeam. No sunlight, no photosynthesis, no I'm gonna grow tall and proud energy. They're like the saddest, darkest party ever. But the trees, they're still trying to make it work. Quick word from our sponsor. If this sounds like something you'd enjoy, take a look at the Apple AirPods 2nd generation. There's a link and a QR code on screen right now, and in the description below. Alright, back to it. It's not like they're upside down. They're just upside up, in a place where the sky is the floor. Like if you put a plant in a jar and flipped it, but the plant still wants to grow up. It's not a mistake. It's a survival strategy. You ever try to grow a tree in the dark? It's like trying to learn to ride a bike without a helmet. You're just winging it, hoping gravity doesn't kill you. But the cave trees, they've got the survival instincts of a raccoon who's been in a fight with a toaster. In the end, these trees are like the underdogs of the plant world. They don't get the spotlight, but they get the job done. They're proof that even in the darkest places, life finds a way. Just don't ask them to explain it. They'll just stare at you like you're the one who's upside down. Before you go, if you enjoyed this, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And tell us in the comments what you'd like us to make next. We read every